Donc, bienvenue sur ma chaîne. Aujourd'hui, on enregistre pour les archives. Ce n'est pas diffusé à moins que le groupe que vous voyez présentement le décide. Ceci est une rencontre sous conseil privé pour le Canada Dejure. So, welcome to my channel, everyone. We are not broadcasting this tonight. It is for historical purpose that we're recording, unless this group that you see right now ever decide that we want to broadcast this, or if someone asks us questions. Otherwise, this is considered a private council meeting for the Governor General with the Lieutenant Governor. So I'm going to go from left to right here. I'm going to introduce everyone. Actually, I'm going to let them introduce themselves, but I'm going to name them. So starting to my left is Miss April from Saskatchewan. Please uncut your microphone and introduce yourself. Donc, je commence ici à ma gauche, Madame April de Saskatchewan. S'il vous plaît, veuillez vous présenter.
Hi, I'm April Similesti, acting as Lieutenant Governor for Dejure for Saskatchewan.
For Saskatchewan. Thank you, April. I will get back to you in a few moments and during the course of the conversation. Thank you for being here. Next is Carl-Edouard Fleury. Donc, Carl, si tu voulais avoir l'obligeance de découper ton micro et te présenter, s'il vous plaît, dans la langue de ton choix.
Good evening, Carl-Edouard Fleury, Crown Secretary and Information de Jure. And hi, everybody.
And where do you live, Carl?
In Alberta, Lloydminster, Alberta.
Bienvenue sur mon canal. Ensuite, on va présenter Monsieur Denis Premier. Donc, Denis Premier, si tu avais l'obligeance de découper ton micro et te présenter aux gens du Canada, s'il vous plaît.
Bonjour, ici Denis Premier, roi du Canada.
Avec les airs qui roulent. Bon, puis Denis, vous habitez où?
Dans le Québec de merde.
Ouais, la province de Québec, c'est pas si merdique que ça. Un coup que... Bon, merci beaucoup. On va revenir à vous dans quelques instants. Next, we have Maureen. Maureen, please uncut your microphone and please introduce yourself after you're done with your food.
Hi, I'm Maureen Weirs, and I'm the Lieutenant Governor Dejure for Alberta.
Thank you very much for being here, Maureen. Next in line, we have Mr. Paul. Paul, please kindly uncut your microphone and introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Paul Chauvin, temporary and de jure Lieutenant Governor of Ontario. Here I am.
Thank you very much for being here, Paul. So we're making a collection. Donc, on a une collection de Paul. Le prochain, il s'appelle aussi Paul. S'il vous plaît, si tu avais l'obligeance de découper ton micro et te présenter.
Bonjour tout le monde, Paul Leblond, lieutenant-gouverneur du Québec de Juré. My name is Paul Leblond. I'm from Quebec. I'm the Lieutenant Governor de Jure.
Ben, merci d'être là, Paul. Next, we're going to have Prince Edward Island introduce themselves as they see, please. So, can you hear us there out in Prince Edward Island?
Yes, I'm Bill Kays, and I'm acting LG for Prince Edward Island.
Thank you very much for being here, Mr. Case. Paul, would you please cut your microphone back because Facebook is harassing us?
Yeah.
Thanks. Ensuite, next, we have Angèle Prince. Please introduce yourself. You have to uncut your microphone. Or unmute.
Tammy.
Voilà, ça fonctionne, s'il vous plaît.
Tammy's next.
Oh, you want me to skip? You want to be last? All right,
no, Tammy is next to Bill.
Okay, not on this side.
You don't see her in the back in the screen?
Not on this side. It's different. So let's keep Angèle for last. So Miss Tammy, please introduce yourself.
Hi, my name is Tammy Deline, and I'm acting Lieutenant General for the province of Manitoba.
Lieutenant Governor, thank you very much for being here. Just going to make a brief comment about that. This is the first time we meet Tammy tonight, so very officially, I am happy to welcome you on this channel. We'll have a little problem because we have one person that should be joining, so that would be Stacy from British Columbia. Let's see, Denis. Vu qu'on va faire ça principalement en anglais, ça te tente-tu de lever les feutres, comme on dirait l'autre? Juste de couper ton micro.
Tu dis au roi de décalisser?
Ben, je te
Pas de
le
problème.
demande, mais
Bye!
non, mais juste avant de faire ça, fais juste donner ton autorisation à Angèle, là, qui va parler
Je
en
vous
ton nom.
je vous donne la bénédiction, Angèle.
Bon, bénédiction royale.
Ouais,
Yeah.
Denis, c'est déjà fait.
Okay,
Pas de problème.
so we've got royal assent to make this reunion happen. So if you, all of you people would like to wave to the king before he says goodbye. Donc, si vous voulez bien dire bonjour à Monsieur Denis Ier, on va laisser
Le roi des calices.
Ouais, bon, ben je l'enregistre de toute façon, fait que je te ferai ça en présentation privée quand on se verra.
Cool.
Merci beaucoup d'avoir
Passez
été là.
Passez une belle soirée, tout le monde.
Merci. So he says, have a
Bye.
good night, everyone. All right, so this is going to be easier because he doesn't speak English anyway. So now we're going to mainly continue in English. As for Paul, if you'd like to get the link to Stacy, we're going to properly welcome her before we get Angèle to speak.
Done.
Done. All right, so just give us a few seconds. Stacy should be able to join us any moment, and we're going to keep on going as soon as she gets here. Maybe we can sing song meanwhile. Oh, all right. Here we have, I think we have the, oh, Paul has cut his camera. Okay.
Jeff, I made your famous stir fry for supper.
Did you?
Yeah.
Is it famous? I don't know.
I didn't hear about it. Can't be that famous.
You have to get it in BC.
Yeah, you have to come into the Rockies, so I'll make it happen for you once you get here. All right, so let's cut short to my doubtful humor. We're going to welcome Stacy here, speaking of British Columbia. So we were just introducing everyone, Stacy. So if you would kindly introduce yourself, I'm going to quickly set the camera on you. So please introduce yourself. I am recording this for historical purpose only. We're not broadcasting right now. You will need to uncut your microphone so you can introduce yourself.
Sorry about that. Okay, my name is Stacy, aka Sally. I'm temporarily volunteering to be the LG for BC. Other than that, I'm really not sure what you really want to know about me.
Well, that's the kind of introduction that everybody has done before you. By the way, the king says hi to everyone. He left a spot for you to join because this is a privy council for the Governor General. It's more important that you hear what Angèle Prince has to say to each and every one of you. It's going to be much easier. Nice to see you. Welcome on my channel. And so yeah, Angèle is going to mainly make a declaration tonight. So we're going to, it's bilingual, so she's probably going to work in both English and French. So now I'm going to skip to Angèle, and the floor is yours to introduce yourself, and then I'm going to probably shut on myself. Carl, please kindly block your microphone.
You bet.
Thank you.
Ben moi, je l'ai écrit en anglais. Donc, peut-être que tantôt, quand je vais terminer, je ferai une révision de qu'est-ce qui est en français. OK? Bon?
Go ahead, the floor is yours. Le plancher est à vous.
Okay, good evening, everyone, people of Canada. My name is Angèle Prince. I'm the Governor General of Canada, Dejure, since July 1st, 2017. First of all, thank you for being here. It won't take long, just a few words, because we were just want to know where we're standing right now. It looks like we need a de jure lieutenant governors for British Columbia, but I didn't know until now. Nova Scotia and Newfoundland. Somebody will have the courage to understand and freely and willingly apply for these positions if we want to have 10 signatures in June and start the Dejure government. We will have an act of union prepared to be sent to the LGs, at least to those who will not make it to Falcon Lake, but even then, I will personally can take care of the signatures for the Maritimes, meaning I will get the 5 signatures of the act prior to the delay date, June 1st, meaning we have no time to lose. You have to understand that this is not a joke or a game. We, people of Canada, have the obligation to make a de jure government. The private corporations have stolen everything from us. They have to step out and leave with their debts. They have no choice if we all stand for the truth by respecting the Constitution. And I'm not going to let them continue to steal from us, from our rights, to our properties, our lives. So lieutenant governors will have to get ready in each of their province in case we have all the signatures. And if not, they still have to respect the Constitution of Canada, and we have to do it now. We won't let this go forever. The province of Quebec has its legislature council almost completed and they are getting ready. And I wish to advise you that, as I said, I will do my best to respect my obligations until July 1st, 2019. I will continue to do my functions after that date, but the post of Commandant-in-Chief will be available. I consider that we, my husband and I, that we have done quite a big job by finding out the truth, by being part of the grand jury and crushing the Supreme Court. A lot of courage and energy. We have to think about us now. But I'm sure that when all the people are in place, everything will get in place. You seem like courageous people, and I trust you, and I trust that you can do as much as we did. We prepared the basement, now you have to build the house, and I'm sure you will succeed. Somebody has to do it, and I'm proud we did. I'm not afraid anymore, and they know it. So let's do it. Let's find our missing LGs, as well as the signatures, and sign the Constitution of Canada in Falcon Lake, Manitoba, on June 15, 2019. Merci beaucoup. Thank you.
All right. Well, that was quite a statement. So now that you've heard the Governor General make this statement, anybody has anything to say about that or any comments? Now's the time. This is a council. Even though you're all working for Angèle as Lieutenant Governor because it's an appointee mission, you have your say. This is a private council meeting, so now's the time. Let's hear about what you have to say. Anyone wants to go first? Paul, you have your microphone uncut. Paul from Quebec, so go ahead in the language of your choice.
Yeah, well done, Angèle. Way to go. We have to realize that they're nothing. These people are absolutely nothing. All they have right now is police officers and the judges and lawyers. But besides that, they have nothing. We have the power.
Right. Right.
Anyone else? Thank you, Paul. Paul from Ontario, your microphone's uncut, so floor is yours.
I'd like to add that I think we have somebody for Nova Scotia. It's not confirmed yet, but we just have Nova Scotia still to find. Pardon?
Newfoundland? You say we have someone in Newfoundland?
Yeah, on n'a pas personne pour Terre-Neuve encore. We don't have anybody for Newfoundland yet, but maybe we have somebody for Nova Scotia. It's looking good so far. myself, I'm still working on getting my just 82 people to be able to be legislative assembly for Ontario, but Jeff and I were talking about something about legislative councils instead. I don't know if that's okay, but
I'm going to briefly interrupt here, just so everybody's on the same page. In this document here, it says that Ontario and Quebec has a two-tiers chamber. Everybody else here, which is a respective lieutenant governor for their own province, have a one-tier chamber only. Ontario and Quebec are very particular. They are the two founding provinces, so they have not only a legislative or the legislative assembly is composed of three different person, if I can use this term. So it's a legislative council, an executive council, and the lieutenant governor. Everybody else has the lieutenant governor and the executive council only. So it's much easier for all of you than from Quebec and Ontario. And just to pinpoint that Quebec is well in advance above everybody else. They have their legislative council. They have 24 people. There's a speaker, which has already been appointed. So now Ontario has a little bit of catch up to do, and everyone else, once the Act of Union has been properly signed, and you accept, of course, to abide by this rule, which the de facto government does not, we can start moving. And once we start moving, and I say we, but I'm not part of it, Angèle is going to need to form an executive assembly, which is known currently as the House of Commons, which is also a two-tier chamber composed of the executive assembly and the Senate. So she has the biggest job now. Once all of you are willing to freely and willingly sign the said Act of Union, she's going to be in need for people from all across Canada to form, of course, the Senate and the executive chamber, or assembly if you prefer, known as the House of Commons. So thank you, Paul. Now I'm going to floor for the next person who's willing. Stacy, your microphone has been uncut, so please, if you have any comments, question, or anything.
Okay, hopefully there's not a lot of feedback on this. I don't have my earphones in.
Everything's perfect.
Okay, great. Okay, so one of my curiosities with this position, I wasn't quite sure what is involved with this position. However, I need to know how protected we are once we sign that, once we pledge our oath. Is that what we're doing in Manitoba?
Angèle, would you like to answer to that, or should I answer to that?
Well, you can.
All right. So right now there's no no danger to any of us. How protected you are is protected by the truth. That's the first thing. Second of all, there is legal protection which are included in the Constitution itself, because every legal protection that came with the British when they came and they gave us our independence is yours. They're all stated into here. Everything you do based on your action when you are in committee is protected by the Constitution itself. But I will also give you. Why is the door ringing? Hold on. I'll also give you my own protection. Nothing has happened to us or to the king. We're still alive. So this is lawful, legal, and constitutional. So Angèle, please be my guest. Door is ringing, so I'll be right back.
So just the fact that you signed the Act of Union, if you really trust and understand that you have the power to do it, and you're not afraid to do it, well, then we don't have to be afraid of anything. I think so, because this is the truth. It's written there. So I willingly applied to be a lieutenant governor for BC, and it has to go as the Constitution. So I'm not afraid of anything.
Okay. Sorry, go ahead.
No, it's okay. Go ahead.
Oh, okay, because I just want to make sure before I do sign, because I do have children that I have to worry about, and of course myself. So going forward with this, I need to know that because there's so much talk that's happening right now in so many different groups. I'm trying to follow as much information as possible, but there's so much information out there that is differing, and it's really hard to pinpoint what is truth and what isn't, especially when we have very similar groups that are wanting to do the same thing as us. They're fighting for the rights. They're standing up for the rights. I don't know if they're going as far as we are going, but I just want to make sure that when I sign that piece of paper, it's not going to put me in a position of, what's the right word?
In harm's way.
Yeah, because I
Yeah.
know I have heard of people being put in jail for, well, I hate to use that word treason. I don't know what other word to use, but for going against the government.
All right, let me reassure you again, because what we're doing is constitutional. This is the official document. It cannot be treated as treason in any way, shape, or form. What we're doing is very legitimate, very legal, very lawful. On top of that, it needs to be done because it's the truth. I have heard of other group, and we've had that discussion with Paul extensively. I've also had that discussion with Carl. These other group which you're talking about, I have also seen them. I'll put the camera on myself briefly. They're talking about making a new constitution, which is not this one. To my view, at this moment, this could be considered as treason. If I came to you today with the constitution of North Korea or France or the United States saying, okay, this is my constitution and not that one, then you'd be right. So this is exactly to prevent that and to reassure people like you, because I have honestly have to answer the same thing as you did when we first started over 2 years ago. But here's another level of protection. Once, and Angèle can vouch for what I'm about to say. If Denis was still here, you could say the same thing. This was notarized, made in front of a notary public. When we made the claim of right, the royal claim of right, Angèle, would you like to take over from this? You were there, right? I'm not too sure that Paul was here, Paul Leblond. T'étais-tu là quand on a fait la
Yes, Paul
réclamation?
was there. Yes, we was there, Paul.
T'étais là à la Macasa?
OK, oui, ce soir-là, oui, mais
Okay.
le document qui a été notarié, I wasn't there.
Okay, so I'm gonna ask
It was
Angèle.
you and Denis.
Okay, I'm gonna ask Angèle to answer this. La Macasa, that's a little town in Quebec. We rented the town hall that night. There was a notary public, so just go about. And then what happened?
Then what happened? You read the Denis made a claim of right, and he signed he swear on the Constitution. That's right. He swore on the Constitution to be the king of Canada Dejure.
And did you send this to Westminster?
Yes, I did.
To Buckingham Palace?
Yes, I did.
Oh, this is where we stand. We've done a lot more than the people you're talking about. First, we've done a grand jury in 2015. This is how we've discovered the mess we are in. So that was taken in front of 23 courageous citizen or human, if you prefer. Me not using citizen because they were acting in their power of self-government and judgment. They gave us a reason to go to the appeal court of Quebec. Angèle can vouch for that as well. Angèle, what did you do in front of the appeal court of Quebec?
Well, I told them that there were traitors, traitors, and I told of three judgments from the previous years from the federation, and I told them that they were traitors, and if they had to respect the Constitution. And since if they had respected the Constitution, they would have respected the freedom of association, and I would not be there today. So I said, "You're all traitors," and I just got out of there, and I said.
Okay, I'm gonna pick up from here. So yeah, she accused the Court of Appeal from Quebec of being traitor. She torn apart 3 judgments from lower court, and also what she's not saying, she told them. She didn't ask. She ordered them to stand up and leave the boat, and that's exactly what they did. And then after that, we went through the Supreme Court. Paul, you were there at the Supreme Court, so I'm going to ask Paul Leblanc, what happened at the Supreme Court? In as short as you can. What did we get out of that? You need to uncut your microphone. So, Paul, faut que tu découpes ton micro. Qu'est-ce qui est arrivé à la Cour suprême du Canada? Brièvement. Ton micro est toujours coupé. Stand by. His microphone's still cut.
Well, first, I realized that we were not really welcome. And then we went upstairs, and the first time when I was there, I think I was there twice, if I remember well.
Yes, 2 times.
And yeah, we had this document stamped, and you know, they were not really feeling comfortable with that. I'd say that they were kind of scared. You know, they didn't feel right. And I just want to say something. I'm sorry, I forgot your name. You know, you were talking about your kids and everything. That's exactly the reaction they want from us. To make sure that we won't try to change anything. That's exactly what they want. And I've done a lot of things in Quebec, and I'm still alive. You know, I don't have any kids, but still, you know, don't be afraid.
Because
yes.
now they know that we discovered, we found the truth. That's what they don't like, because they never thought that somebody would probably they never thought that somebody would hear about this or knew about this. We have
and the thing.
We have the truth.
Yeah, and the thing is, I think they're scared of us because they know that we know.
Yeah.
And they don't want to lose their job, and they don't want anything to change because they're benefiting from this.
Yes. And Paul, just to remind you, you were there in La Macasa. I have your original signature.
Yeah. I was there.
All
I
right.
remember.
So, and after that, to complete the story that we embarked on right now, what happened on July 1st, 2017, and at 9 a.m. in Ottawa in front of Parliament? Any of the two of you were there, and I've got the recording if you don't remember. So, Angèle or Paul, let's go, Angèle. What happened that day in Ottawa?
Well, first of all, we had to go to Ottawa, and we were thinking about renting a hotel, or what we said it was going to be the celebrations of Canada, the 150th. So Jean-François said the only way we can get there is to have costumes. So we got costumes. We got costumes from a store in Montreal. And we were wearing I was wearing a dress, and they were not maritime, the soldiers, and my husband was the cardinal who put the
crown
on the king, and it was really something, because we went there and nobody bothered us. We just installed ourselves in front of just the parliament was just behind us with the false flag of Quebec, and we did what we had to do. And people we were not bothered. Like I said, if we had gone there without any costumes, well, we would have never done what we did. And it was super. And we did it 4 times.
3 times.
And just until the police, Ottawa police, find out that we were there. We got out of there as fast as we can.
So, for the people who may not be aware, yes, we did a crowning ceremony in front of Parliament on July 1st, 2017. I'm just looking for it right now. I'm going to, it's very short, so yeah, I'm going to look for it. If somebody else has question right now, I'm going to try to, well, I'm going to present it to you. I'm not going to try, I'm going to do it. As soon as I find it in the 300 published video that I have on my own channel. Once again, I've never got any thing except my own worry itself. Never had any problem with these people. What we're doing is safe on its own. It's what should have been done for 150 years, and it was never done. Actually, I've got it now. So if you wish, I can. Yes, as soon as I click on this. All right, I'm going to share my screen briefly, so you can all see what was been done. It's 4 minutes. So anybody has any objection in seeing the crown ceremony? No? All right. I'm going to share my screen briefly.
No, don't laugh anyway.
Yeah, the costume are yeah, they're funny, right? So here it is, July 1st. Everybody can see that? Yes. You won't hear it. Right, this is what happened. So the costume Angèle was talking about. So I'm going to make some color commentary over it. So you see Denis here, and you see his condition. If you've never seen him, he's stuck in a wheelchair. And you see Parliament building behind us. It is East building, I think. So this is the Senate right behind us. So the documents that I'm going to shut the sound since you can't hear it, but the document that Denis is holding is the default judgment that we got before the Supreme Court, the royal claim of right that was sent to Buckingham Palace, and as well as the Parliament of Westminster, and also all these people behind in this beautiful building which is ours. They've received it. Now you see Angèle Prince, which is getting her blessing as Governor General. Paul Leblanc, which you have here on the line, which is receiving and volunteering for Lieutenant Governor for Quebec. And then finally, you've got Régent Trottier, which is a Lieutenant Governor for New Brunswick. So if you doubt, if anything should have happened to us, it was right there when the crowning ceremony happened. Oh, the door is ringing again. Damn it, hold on.
One thing you probably add in there is that they know that they have no constitutional authority. The judges, I mean, they don't have any constitutional authority over anybody.
Yeah, they know all that. They know. They've known forever. They know.
I'm just saying this
and the thing is, they also know that it's too late for them. Too many people know about the whole thing.
At the grand jury, remember, Paul, there was Jean-François Dubois who talked about some laws not laws, but requests from the Supreme Court. It was called RCS 2017. It was the principle of principe de l'effectivité. Comment tu dis ça? Comment tu dis ça, Paul? Le principe de l'ineffectivité. It says, the Supreme Court says that the government is de facto because of the rights. It's not the law, it's not the jure. And they say also that if you can't, you can be violated just until you say no, it's enough.
That's it. The law can be lawfully violated for as long as nobody says no. And once we discovered it, it was too late. So let's skip to the Supreme Court. Once we got there, what was our position at the Supreme Court?
At the Supreme Court, we went to give them the request, and I said to the greffier, I said to him, they're gonna steal our land, they're gonna seize our land. He said, just make
injunction.
Just make an injunction. So it took me about 7 days to prepare the injunction, and then nobody answered. After 30 days, we had sent it to all the effective, the government, the lawyers, the barreaux, Quebec, or whatever, and nobody answered within 30 days. So we had a judgment by default judgment, and I think Jean-Francois and Denis were there to have it stamped, filed in our file.
So I've just stopped it. So you see the Ottawa police here at the back, which are standing on the other side. I'm going to stop screen sharing, but before I do that, I'm going to advance a little bit, see how it goes in Quebec. So Paul is going to remember this. So this is the Sûreté du Québec. This is Denis once again. He was getting evicted from his own house. So they are right there, the fascist government, evicting people with no legs, handicap, and they're evicting people from their house. So we've got 40 minutes of that. They spoke to us right here. If I skip forward, this is one of their sergeant right there in front of the camera. He's trying to block the camera from viewing, but I've told them all of what we're telling you today. So if you're still scared after that, you can see that we went ahead forward before you did. We've confronted them at every level possible. So a day like this today could go by very smoothly for all you people. I'm gonna stop screen sharing right now. This is funny because my background has disappeared, so I'm back on camera now. I'm gonna put back my beautiful background. Here, I can move that. So once again, under my own name as a human, let me welcome you to this entire adventure. It's been a very long run for us. We were a small group composed of mainly Denis, Paul, Angèle, Régent, and myself for the longest time. We've done everything possible so it goes smoothly for you today. We went so far with Angèle specifically of making happen after the grand jury. We've discovered 110 criminal charge, which were chargeable offense under summary conviction. We did the trial. Nobody showed up, so they got convicted. So that's why on the grand jury website, we've got two lists that we've been publishing for 5 years now. One's being the delinquent criminal to be controlled, and the other one is the criminal organization. So there's a bunch of people there. I have also put out a challenge to all 25,000 lawyers in Quebec, and this extends, of course, to any lawyer in Canada, to come and meet me in the Olympic Stadium, and no one did. So it's still an open challenge to this day. And to answer my own question that I asked Angèle earlier, what was our position at the Supreme Court? She may not have understand well. Our position at the Supreme Court was defending this. But since we did the appeal, of course, we were not defending anything. We were the people who were appealing. So the defendant, in case you've never seen it, this is our request for appeal at the Supreme Court. As you see, this is stamped here. This is not the default judgment. I have it elsewhere. This is so it was how did they say that? Received by the registry, and you've got the date here, 5th of December 2017. And a couple of days later, somewhere around 30 days, we had the default judgment, which has a different stamp, and it says on it, file. So what did we present? Our position was this. So we were there. And so any party, and I'll show you the list. So this is us here, us, plus the grand jury. And the defendant, I'll just read you the first line. État national du Québec, which stands for National State of Quebec. Sam Hamad, Xavier Savoie-Turcotte, Yvon Vallière, Laurent Lessard, Jacques P. Dupuis, Christian Paradis, Pierre Paradis, Claude Bachard, André Bellavance, Yvon Marcoux, Jacques Vachon, Amélie Lebel, Marc Bellemare, Guylaine Tarte are member of the National Assembly of Quebec. So basically, the illegal de facto government of Quebec was summoned there. So this is the list of the people. And starting on the next line, all of these were people who were defendant to the Supreme Court case. Nobody showed up. All of these defendant, nobody showed up.
No.
I'm still turning the pages. All of these were defendant. Nobody showed up.
No.
Next page. All of these were defendant at the Supreme Court. Nobody showed up.
No.
and this is it. So there's about 300 people that we summoned to our appeal. They all defaulted on it because their position was clearly unconstitutional. So this is where we stand today, and now you people are joining us to create the Dejure Canada, which should have been done 150 years ago. So it is odd that it is you and we, the people, who have to do that because our representative are just a bunch of stupid fucking people or asshole.
Can I add can you clarify, because a lot of people don't understand what a default judgment is, okay?
April will answer that question perfectly. April, if you'd like to answer that, you've given the perfect answer to Freedom Free for All the other day, so please go ahead.
So when you're in a default judgment, you're basically now under contempt. And when you're under contempt, you're basically guilty. If that makes sense. Can you hear me?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Can you say that again? Can you say that again?
Angel is asking you to say it again, please.
Okay, so in a default judgment, you're basically under contempt because those people did not show up. So when you're under contempt, you're basically guilty.
Mm-hmm. When you don't show up, you're automatically guilty, right? Because probably they thought that there was only just four little people here who don't know anything about. They're not from the borough. They're not from the government. They're just regular people. Are we going to answer that? No, we don't have to. We don't have time to answer that. So I default.
So I'm going to ask one question now, either to Angel or Paul. Did we act since the beginning, including the grand jury and before, in common law?
Yes, always.
Paul?
Yep, we did.
So this is the basic principle, the rule of law, what's legal, lawful, and constitutional in Canada. This is what we've been lied about for so long. The joke has lasted long enough. And if you think that we were not scared when this started, we were, but most of us has lost some feather in the process. We were not happy at the time, but now that we went so far, we're happy that we have. It didn't cost us very much in total right now. If we put Paul, Denis, myself, Angel, and Régent, we've lost some feather. I'll be honest to you. They've tried everything in their book. They've sent the cops. The SWAT team raided my home one night, or actually one morning. Paul was kicked out of his home. During the process, he was accused in criminal court. I was accused in criminal court. Régent was accused in criminal court. We all got pretty much unbeaten. We're all free in front of you today. Oh, also Denis was accused in criminal court. We basically crushed them at every level there is. Here's one thing, Paul. I'll give you the floor back. You remember the fake judge called Jean-François Michaud?
Jean-François Michaud, yes, of course I remember him.
Why don't you turn on a light and tell us about it?
The whole thing?
Just the admission that you got from him, the specific question I told you to ask him.
I asked him to prove to me that the legislature of Quebec and the justice system was legal and constitutional.
Answer?
He basically said, well, I'm not going to be able to prove it to you, and nobody here in this courthouse will be able to do it. That's a major thing, you know. You cannot prove that what he's doing is lawful and constitutional.
Because
it comes from a judge. I mean, wow, it says everything. If you can't prove it, why are you doing it? It should have been easy for him to say, well, listen, buddy, I'll prove it to you right here, right now. And he didn't. He couldn't. Because it's not legal. It was a clown court.
Yes, it was a clown court. Thank you, Paul. I'll ask you once again to turn on a light, please. Ça fait que si t'avais l'obligeance juste d'allumer une lumière.
I'm not bright enough?
So go ahead with your question. We are here exactly for that. And then once the question are done with, we're going to talk to you about the upcoming constitutional convention. So if you have any other question, I see Stacy, your microphone is uncut. Go ahead. Please, I hope that we reassured you one bit.
I definitely appreciate the clarification. That's for sure. I did have a conversation in one of our chat groups about some of the points that Sam had brought up that I really wanted to kind of flesh out, because I wanted to make sure I'm doing the right thing, not only for myself, but for everyone else as well. So I'm hoping that maybe there'll be a point in time that we can get together again. Unfortunately, he couldn't make it today, but I'm hoping we could address some of those points moving forward. I don't have the questions at hand, but I know that there are a few, and I just wanted to make sure that that was available to happen before we do sign.
Of course. Yes, Paul, go ahead.
I don't want to be rude, but are you still not sure that you're doing the right thing, that we're doing the right thing?
It's not a matter of whether or not it's the right thing. I think I just want to feel safe enough. And like I said, there's so much information out there that it's, I still need to do more reading. I still need to reassure myself. I still need more education myself. This is all new to me. So I'm coming into this a little bit blind. I do know a little bit, but not enough to, I guess, to be in a position that I'm in right now to feel safe that I'm doing what I need to do for everybody. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. And
it does.
I'll answer with that. This is the right thing to do. This is what has not been done. And also, I will add to this that it's not we, the people, against the government, unlike other groups, which are, and I know you're talking about. I will not name names or do anything. Some people are going against the government. It's not our intention at all, because we understand that they are not the government. They are a de facto corporation. Also, the other aspect is we also understand that in order to be able to amend this document in any way, shape, or form, we need to abide by it first. The nation needs to be properly formed. This is where our group, or this group, is getting together so we can proceed with an act of union. There's no opposition per se. It's not we versus them. These people who have done that, there are also people, most of them have got full into the process. The guilty parties are very few. Collaborators are in a large number. Idiots are also in large number. There's a lot of information that's going out there, which is no better than the de facto corporation that we have as government. We do not get involved into these groups in any way, shape, or form. And the only difference between this society here of interest is that we are a society which is unregistered, which rule is this. So if you need to be educated about anything, the only answer, and I'll always return to this word, Paul can vow about this, Maureen and April as well. What's my keyword? Constitution, isn't it? So this is it. This is the Constitution. Of course, this is a French version. It has no power of law. The English version is power of law. We need to make it happen. It was not properly signed. In fact, we have no country called Canada. It's been going on for too long. We are no Superman, no superhero. We're only ordinary people. And we were once in the position that you are now. And I can also speak for myself. What's this mess we're in? So either we go into a worse mess by following or learning from the wrong people who think they know better than anything, or we abide by the law and we have no problem with it. And so if they ever come after you, all you need is this: is what are you people doing? If, let's presume for a moment they're asking you, well, I'm doing constitutional law. What are you doing? Oh, I'm writing a new constitution. Well, that has no force or effect. And also, there is probably a way, and there is a way, to get a better constitution. And I will admit into that. But let's not put the cart before the horses. If we don't abide by this, and that's what you'd be signing on, the Act of Union, according to this. Like I said a little earlier, if I came to you with the Constitution of North Korea or France or New Zealand or anywhere else in the world, what we'd be doing, and you'd be in your entire right. So what the fuck are you doing? And now, because we're using this, it is the right thing to do, which has not been done. So it's a movement, a society which meant to be peaceful by people of good intent and goodwill. And if you're one of those, well, let's play the game called Canada together. And the fact that you're de jure versus the de facto people, the only real difference, and you were talking to me about the oath of allegiance, this is what Dennis has vowed on. Same thing for Angel and everybody else who's de jure. And right now there's only 2 persons, but everybody else includes all of you. Right now there's only Denis and Angel, which has made their oath of allegiance to this, and that's all there is to it. And even if the king is technically the boss of this, he has no power in reality. Each of the province have their own field of competency. The lieutenant governor got their duty. The governor general got their specific duty. Nobody step out of bound onto other people's duty. And we'll have Canada. We'll have freedom. We'll have the right and protection
I
of
want
every.
I want to answer Stacy. There are a lot of people. Some are talker and some are doers. So we did not, like when we started after the grand jury, even when the grand jury, we did not wait for somebody else's opinion to do something. We said this is the right thing to do. We go for it, and when people understand and get educated, they will say we are right. We are right. So a lot of people can say a lot of. You were talking about groups. I don't know, but people can say yes, but yes, but yes, but that's what I'm saying, is that you have talkers and doers, and I'm a doer.
Yes. Can I add something?
Thank you. Thank you very much, April.
Thank
All
you,
right.
Stacy. So who said, can I ask something?
Me.
Oh, Carl. Go ahead, Carl.
Well, I didn't want to ask anything. I just wanted to point out something, is that we're talking about safety and security here, like Stacy's talking about. And I mean, the results of the grand jury proves that you are much safer behind the Constitution than within their system. And this is the reason why we're doing it right now, because as far as safety is concerned, it's pretty well becoming non-existent right now. Right, and the grand jury, the results of the grand jury proves you that you will get results under the Constitution, just like Angela Prince did. I mean, because she fought the system for many years. Same thing with the king, Dennis, and look at them there. They all got judgment, and that was the only way to do it, is with the Constitution. So that proves you right there that you are way more secure, you know, by abiding by the Constitution, by trying to trust the system that we're trying to dismantle. This is the reason why we're doing it.
Well, dismantle them by shame only. We're not attacking anyone, because the royal claim of right, Maureen can speak about this. What's the first clause says as a royal claim of right? The first clause at top. Does it say that we're looking for universal peace? Maureen?
Yes, it does.
Universal peace, what does that mean? That even if ET just happens to stop his flying saucer on top of Parliament Hill, universal peace. So, and if you want to keep on playing the game of the actual system, let me remind you that we are currently at war since 1952 with North Korea and China, you know, and we have not signed a peace treaty with Germany at this moment. We've signed one with Hungary and with Italy and whatnot, but never with Germany. They had no lawful government back then. Some people will say, well, Britain has signed a peace treaty. No. Germany was conquered. Germany is a conquest. It's still an occupied country to this day. So we need to sign peace with everybody. So if you want to play the game of war, you know where to go. Just keep on going, vowing for the actual system, or ignore the truth. If you would like to play the game of peace, let's play this game together. And in English too, by the way. This is also already French. This is in French, sorry, there's no power of law. The English version has it. And once I get in Lloydminster, and then during the month of June, April, I'm going to ask of you that you give me a copy, or actually that you loan me your own copy of this. I'll be needing it when I get there. I don't have an English version, and Staples way too far from the Rockies.
I'll get you.
I want to say something. If you don't have any more something to talk about or some question to ask, I would like to leave.
All right. I think we're going to allow the people which have not talked too much today. That means Manitoba, Tammy, and also Prince Edward Island. I would like to give you a voice for a moment. Anything you have on your heart you didn't understand or you would like to ask, or maybe throw your opinion into it. This is why we're here tonight.
I just want to add to what Stacy was saying. I know there is a great deal of concern, and we have to remember that we've been indoctrinated to believe what they say they can do and what they can't do. And I have 7 children of my own and 3 grandchildren. And for me, this is the most legal thing that I've come across in the last 4 months. And I encourage you to stand up for your children and fight this battle. Like, nobody else is going to do it for us. And for me, myself, I'm speaking solely for myself, is I am willing to give my life for my children. And if this is what I have to do it, then I'm going to do it. If we stay in the corrupt corporation of Canada, we're not going to be safe at all. In I figure 2, maybe 3 years, and nobody's going to have a say in anything. And you just have to look around the world to see what's going on. So I do encourage you to stick with it, and maybe we can learn together, because honestly, I don't know absolutely anything, but I'm willing to stand up for Manitoba because I don't want to see it not be signed, because they've worked so hard to get here. But I have faith and trust in everybody that's here with us right now, that if we have questions and we need to learn, that they're going to reach out and help us. So I just really encourage you, as I feel the same way, but when I reflect my family and stuff, I think it's super important, not only for our own families, but for the sovereignty of Canada and for all the Canadians that live here. We are being infiltrated right now. And every day you turn the TV on or Facebook or whatever it is that you follow, it's not one thing now every month. It's like 10 new things every day.
Yes.
So it's super important to do this, and not to be fearful of doing the right thing and going with your heart. That's my words of wisdom. Not that I'm encouraging anybody to do what I think I should do, but I'm very thankful that I was able to find this group. Somebody or something showed me the way here, and I trust that faith. So just keep it in your heart and keep your children in the back of your mind, because this is what we're fighting for.
Thank you so much, Tammy. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Tammy. I would like to make Maureen just follow up on this thing. Recently you were at my place, and speaking of art, would you like to have a comment on this? You should uncut your microphone if you wish to speak. Thank you.
I'm not exactly sure what you're asking me, Jeff.
Well, Tammy was talking about a thing of the art.
Yes.
And you were recently at my place. What's our main discussion didn't turn around about putting everything. Yes, I think you remember now, right?
Yeah, I wholly believe in what this group is doing. I needed more information, and I have been with Jeff for 4 days just so that I could ask all the questions that I needed to and look at the documents to get some sort of assurance that this was legitimate. And spending time with Jeff for those 4 days was amazing. I can tell you that this is the most honorable way that the most honorable thing that we can do for our country. And when it comes to fear, I have none. I wholly believe that this is the right thing to do, and we have an obligation to do this.
Thank you.
I want
Thank you, Maureen.
to add something to this again.
Go ahead, Carl.
Can I say a little something to you guys? Okay, I was, when she was talking about, a freedom of speech, and it could take in 2-3 years, and we're not going to be able to say anything. Well, I can tell you that it's only a matter of months right now. And in case you haven't noticed what was going on into the parliament yesterday, Faith Goldie got, and some other people and other groups got banned already. So this is already the beginning. And also we do have the M103, the Islamophobia motion that was created in October 26, 2016, right, with a E411 petition. So basically, it's another way to keep you quiet, and also the migration pact. So right now, this is coming like very fast at us, and as soon as they get that victory, just like they did do in the parliament yesterday, the clock is ticking right now as far as freedom of speech goes. And once you lose this, it's going to be a big goodbye. So we're definitely having a sense of urgency here, and we're going to be in trouble very quickly. I've been an activist for 3-4 years all across the country. And of course, now I'm the Crown Secretary of Information, which wouldn't be a better place for me to be, because I'm very well informed about everything that goes on pretty well. I'm very highly connected with everybody across the country, and that's what I keep following. And believe me, this is the only cause that I believed. I've been into this for years, and I thought we were doomed until I run into this thing. And the funny thing is, Aline Lafont, who was a friend of mine, sent me a message one night and told me that Jeff Fortin, which I've only seen one video from him, and I totally got it the first time he did it in French. She told me he was looking for a lieutenant governor, and I thought it was kind of funny, right? And I got a hold of him because I'm a curious person, right? I'm always looking. And this is how I got into this. And I believe in this 100%. And all these other groups that are out there, please keep in mind that they have never accomplished anything. And we do have other people that do shows over there that actually did not want to hear nothing, like Mr. Willis didn't want to hear anything about
names.
The Constitution, 2 months ago. And now suddenly, after about 3 weeks, he just became an expert. And then we have another guy who created a movie in which he keeps asking money to finish. And then we have another guy who's a bum that lives in the street, lives in his car, who's actually here in our town. About a week and a half ago, he was supposed to visit my friend for a day, and he ended up staying there about 6-7 days. My friend had to get him out of here. And you know what I'm talking about. So these people really have no credibility whatsoever. And they've never accomplished anything. So the proofs are all there in the grand jury and what Jeff has been doing for years. And I stand behind this 100%. I know I'm on the right track.
Can I just add to that? Sorry.
You bet.
It was Tammy. Yes, go ahead.
Yeah. I just wanted to add, I'm kind of with Stacy too. We are just newly into this, within a few weeks. Well, for me, it's just been a few weeks. And we do see all these different groups and stuff. So it's hard for us to distinguish as outsiders looking in on who we should be trusting, or not that we should trust anybody, but who we should be going with. The other group that's calling themselves the Dejure government group, it's hard to distinguish because it almost they make it seem like they're kind of working with you guys in a way. Do you know what I'm saying?
They stole it from us. We know exactly who you're talking about. I spoke to each every one of them. I've got the recording just like tonight within my private archive. They're pretending. But we know that some people are kind of either agent or collaborator or agent provocateur. They're going to try to steer this society here in the wrong direction. So this is why I'll report you. I'll bring you back to this. So even if we die for every reason, I don't know, I can die in a car crash tomorrow, unrelated to what we're doing, always get back to this. You don't have to put any trust in us. We're not asking so much that you do so until we've proven that we are trustworthy. And but here's something to bring back to Maureen. Put this situation versus your heart, just the way you did. Use your power of self-government and judgment. We're not seeking even your trust. We're not seeking any money. We're seeking a remedy together. We're all just human. Maybe these people we're talking about right now, the other Dejure group, they're going to be enlightened one day and they're going to realize that this is what's common to Canada and do the right thing. Until then, yes, of course, you're going to come across people who are going to try to steer you in the wrong direction. Everybody got fooled into this. Everybody got indoctrinated or propaganded throughout this thing. Of course, we live in a world of lies, but it is up to us to realize that we've had enough and that you don't need us in the end. All you need is this document. And once this is properly signed by a free human, we then have Canada, which is created the way it should be, and then we can act according to the Constitution, which is going to protect you. If you do need the judgment from the Supreme Court, well, I guess you should go through the Supreme Court because it only concerned the people who were on this list here. So that means Angèle Prince, Paul Leblond, Denis Paiement, myself, and the grand jury. So these are the people concerned by this specific judgment. But I'll guarantee you something. You better get your dollar ready because a cause at the Supreme Court, a regular cause, is 2.5 million and it takes years. Otherwise, you can cut short to the crap. Simply use this, and you're free to use it with us as well. Your freedom of association is in full effect now. You came into this conference as a human with your freedom of association being fully involved, and you are free to just leave the way you came in. As for other group, you have to pay a membership, and then there's a president of the entire thing, and if you don't obey to this person, you're being kicked out. Of course, you're a member of a corporation. So
That's right.
there's none of that with us. It's a
What,
freedom
what,
of
hap-
association. What's that?
what happened is that we found out at the grand jury when Mr. Lebrun came and told us what really happened back in 1968. He said that the Quebec province got rid of the legislative council. First of all, they cannot change anything in the constitution, and then after there is no more legislative council. They had the power. Well, they thought they had the power. We said now we're going to do laws like we wish because the legislative council is there to say the right things. Okay, there is two laws that cancel each other or the laws are not constitutional. The council is there to say the right thing, but there was no more council anymore. So we said we're going to make laws like we wish. Yeah, we're going to do as we wish. But now they do laws like the breed. I just came back from Quebec. I spent a week in Quebec, and all we hear about the laws and projects of laws. They don't have any power. Let's
Exactly.
do what we have to do and get rid of. And they will have to go because we are here. They're going to have to respect this. And I'm going to leave you on this because I don't. I just got to go to sleep now.
Yeah, Angèle is right. The Legislative Council was there exactly to prevent the abuse of the Constitution by the Executive Assembly. So they make law that only serve themselves and they do not serve us, the people. So this is what we are proposing to you. Please be our guest and be welcome in Canada Dejure. You're going to be public servant, serving the people. If the people decide one day that they need a better constitution, I got no problem with that. We're going to abide by the new constitution if the need arises. Until that day come, and I feel it's going to be something that's going to come sooner than later. This is the law. supreme law of the country, and that's all there is to it. If somebody want to play by different rule or want to make a Republic of Canada or whatever amendment they want to the Constitution, you're free to take a plane, go into the Republic of China, and see how it goes there. You want a republic? There's one right there.
One-way ticket. One-way ticket.
Yes.
One-way ticket.
So now, before there's Paul that didn't say anything, and there's also Prince Edward Island, Bill Case, which didn't say anything. Before we leave, I'll ask you maybe 10 more minutes. So, Mr. Bill Case and friends, because I sorry if I forgot your name, I'll give you the floor for 1 moment or two. Please be my guest if you can still hear us. If you have any question.
Yeah, well, we're in agreement here. Can you hear us?
Yes, sir. Yeah. I'm happy to hear you from Prince Edward Island.
Yeah, we have a lot of work to do here yet in order to catch up to where you folks are. But, you know, we're all in.
Thank you very much for being here. There's only actually not a lots of work. We've done it. All you need to do is do this, the Constitution. That's all that there is to our little game called Canada. There's nothing else. We're not at the point where we're going to create a Supreme Court. We're not at the point where we're going to create a Senate. None of this matters right now. So let me just step forward because Angèle said so at the beginning. We're going to make a constitutional convention happening between the 14th and the 17th of June. It's going to happen in Falcon Lake, Manitoba. If you never heard of that place, one of the most beautiful places in the country. I was there 3 times in my life. It's absolutely gorgeous out there. Not to be missed if you can make it. Otherwise, if you can go there physically, we're just going to make it happen this way. Denis, Angèle is confirmed. Paul is confirmed. Maureen is confirmed. April's saying yes, so that I'm going to drive you there if you want to jump in my car. So the rest of you, if you can't physically be in Manitoba for this weekend, just be available on a hangout. We're going to talk about the Constitution. We'll provide you with a copy of the, and this is the second part. So the first part is to gather together. The second part is to sign an Act of Union, which is currently being redacted. And once we get the Act of Union, we can make another meeting happen. And then we're going to make this happen. It's going to be up to you, the Lieutenant Governor, in each of your province. Of course, your guidelines are in there, so you don't really need to, know much more than what's in the Constitution. This is your handbook on how to make Canada. And then there's going to be a need for a lawful, legal, and constitutional election. This we can talk about how we're going to make this happen in each of your respective province. And until then, there's nothing else on the list. Please.
Which weekend did you say? Sorry.
Who's saying that?
Tammy.
Tammy, we're going to be in Manitoba, your own province, between the 14th and the 17th of June. Just prior to that, on the 9th of June, I'm going to be in Saskatchewan/Alberta with Carl and Maureen in April. We're going to make a conference there if we can, and it's going to happen in Falcon Lake between the 14th and the 17th of June. So the people who can chip in are going to pay for the convention. That means the hotel renting, but we're not paying for your transportation there, and we're certainly not paying for your meal, because anywhere you'd be in the world, you'd be feeding yourself on your own. But for the accommodation, we're going to rent the entire hotel there for our constitutional convention. Actually, there's a lodge which has 7 room. Yeah, it's a lodge. 7 room, and then if we're out of room, we have an hotel right next door, and if there's no more spot in the hotel, I'm gonna sleep in my own tent. And if not, I'll sleep in my pickup truck, worst come to worst. But you're more than welcome to come. If you can chip in and contribute with us, good. If you cannot, well, we'll cover for the cost.
You said Falcon Lake?
Falcon Lake, exactly.
Yeah, okay.
And if you cannot be present, at least we hope we have your signature.
Yeah, I want to point out that, this is going to be, if we get everybody to sign, this is going to be an historical event, because it'll be the first time over 50 years that Canada is actually Canada, and actually another system which will be created, which will give the people a choice, because right now they don't have a choice. They're stuck in a corporation system and there is no way out. So understand that this is a very, very, very big thing for the people of Canada.
I find that the biggest misconception and misunderstanding, in fact, to people that even should know better, don't understand the difference between what we're doing as a society. This is the underlying word. We have to use society here. And
Yes.
people don't think that we're trying to change the government, that we're replacing the government. They're adding so many different things to what we're doing that what we're actually saying that it's not even funny. This is why the word society is important in this. Anybody's allowed to create a society. The Law Society has their own society. We're supposed to be living in a free and democratic society. You know, we are allowed to create a society. This is what we're doing.
Exactly. That society, Paul, is already 2 years old, and we are not dead yet. So let's just gather together and let's not be afraid. It's just like going and play chess. I mean, this Friday at 8 o'clock at the community center, we're playing chess. You're welcome to come in and play chess. But if you're trying to get in and play another game, well, that's not the place. You just go step out and play with your friends. Besides, the other thing I wanted to say is there will be no safety in numbers. So the people who think that because they're abiding by the supposed law, which is no law, but they're following the de facto corporation, there's not going to be any safety for them. And if they're trying to threaten us, well, it's because they're guilty themselves. There are some group out there who have accused Carl, for example, but it's just lies. That's all that they got left, and because that's all they were ever based on. Paul got the admittance from a so-called fake judge. Angel got 3 judges from the most Supreme Court of Quebec, the Court of Appeal. They stepped out. I saw them. I have the recording here, but I was there on the spot. I saw the Supreme Court just being afraid of us. I even got so far. We've got an RCMP letter saying, word for word, we're not going to bother about you. We're not going to get involved. Well, the day they're going to come and knock on my door, I'm going to flash this letter. Do you remember when you wrote to me? You said you wouldn't mind about us? Well, this day has come. So take your thing and go away. So
And the thing is that we knew that the judgment was going to be on their side, not on our side as usual. And yeah, that was. I'm sorry, I lost what I was going to say.
that the judgment was not in their favor and they would lose
Yeah,
everything.
and I needed the judgment to turn around and apply to the Supreme Court. I didn't care about what was the judgment because I knew that it was going to be on their side. And I asked them to send it by email. So when I got to Princeton, the judgment was there. So I just turned around and applied to the Supreme Court. I needed an appeal judgment from the appeal court in Quebec to apply to the Supreme Court.
Yes.
So I didn't care about the judgment. I knew it was going to be wrong, but I got them. I got them.
So once again, and to close, and unless someone has other question right now, I'm gonna make a close. Yeah, it's getting late in New Brunswick. So right now, let me repeat to you that we're only missing, because of what Paul said earlier, we're now apparently only missing Newfoundland. So let's cross our finger or steer our contact and family and relative and friends so we get a signature from Newfoundland and Labrador. The other detail is that there are 3 territories in Canada, so Yukon, Northwest, and Nunavut. They are managed by Ottawa. They have no legal representative or representation in this. If we can have people who wish from these territories to be part of this society, they'll be more than welcome. Unfortunately, according to the Constitution, and until there is another order that comes by, they have no saying. I wish, I would wish they have full status of province, but we don't need them. The other factor is once come Falcon Lake, there will be spot for discussion. Of course, freedom of expression oblige, but opinion will not be heard of. This is going to cut short to the discussion. There is no question of opinion, it's question of law. And what we're doing is lawful, legal, constitutional, and it's morally needed. So if we don't do it, well, don't be surprised what's awaiting for you. You can look into the past. You'll have a glimpse of what's is ahead. If we let Canada fail, we're going to be in a world of mess, but if we do succeed, and we're well on the way to do it, proof is that you are here tonight, we may achieve world peace. Finally, after 2,500 years of war, I think it's time that we do another type of game, that we all live in peace together on this planet, that we love each other, that we say as it says in the national anthem, "O Canada, we stand on guard for thee," and for me, who are thee? All of you. So if you doubt that we can succeed, well, I ask you to use your freedom of association, get out the way you did, came in. On the other side, if you don't know me personally, and you can read my ball cap, I am a former military. I was in the intelligence division, and I'm not. My car has not been bombed yet. My house has not went up into flame. There is nothing to be afraid of. All the people which are opposing us have to defend themselves are lie, fraud, backstabbing, everything you know about. And if you want more of it, you are welcome to join these group. Otherwise, you're welcome to join our little society here and make it grow just the way you came in, and recognize everybody's freedom of speech, freedom of association, freedom of clean water, clean hair, decent living condition, and work with us from there. And we'll listen to your advice because you've accepted honorably to be lieutenant governor or representative as a free human from your province, and let's play Canada together. And once Canada has been properly created, we'll talk about the future. There's certainly an open space to make it better, and I'm willing to put my grain of salt into it, as well as listen as to other people. But right now we are at the active union, and the Constitutional Convention will be about this and absolutely nothing else. Once this is properly signed, we can speak about the future, no problems. And so that you know what the Constitutional Convention will be about. We'll be reading the Constitution. We'll probably have one or two beer around it. We're going to record it also as well for historical purpose, and we're going to have fun creating Canada. Otherwise, you have the mess to play with, and I wish you luck. So
Yeah, I have to say,
yes, Maureen.
just give me 1 second. I just have to say that these little presentations that we're doing are most helpful for people that don't know all the details behind the route that you guys took to arrive at the decisions that you made. So I think it's incredibly important. And I just want you guys to know that Jeff and I will work on a presentation for the conference in Lloydminster on June 9th. And my hope is that a lot of these details are in there.
Your microphone is cut, Maureen.
Oh.
Your hope is all of these detailed and.
I said so much good things.
Yes, I want to hear the.
I just want to say that these are really necessary, these conversations, because not everybody went through the same steps that you guys went through. So we don't know what you did or what was said to arrive at the decisions that you made. And Jeff is going to be doing a presentation in June in Lloydminster, and I'm working with him on a presentation.
Thank you.
And I'm hoping to include a lot of those steps, some of the things that Angèle said tonight that you guys may not have heard about before. It's incredibly important to understand how they got to where they got by listening to those details. Yeah. So hopefully we can pull that together for you.
All right, so right before I give the floor to someone else, thank you, Maureen, I will ask of you that you provide with your opinion and vote. Anybody has any objection that one day, and I'm not saying when, this actual gathering may be broadcasted on my own channel or otherwise for historical purposes. So I have not really a say because you're the official. I'm just the channel owner and the mouthpiece from this. Anyone has any objection that one day this may get broadcasted?
No.
I don't have any objections at all. And I'm going to leave you on this because I can't take it anymore.
All right, thank you, Angèle.
April, Jeff, Paul, Maureen, Paul, and
all right, so I'm going to make the formal close. I'm going to make the formal closure to this conference before Angèle leaves. So thank you very much merci beaucoup d'avoir été sur mon canal ce soir. Thank you very much. On a eu un consensus pour pouvoir publier un jour. Je vous remercie. Si besoin est, on va publier. So thank you very much for being here. If needed, so one day we'll publish this. Hopefully not. I'm gonna until otherwise, I'm gonna keep it for my private archive. So I'm gonna stop the recording in 5 seconds. If everybody wants to say goodbye to the people of Canada.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.
All right. Thank you very much.